But Ian,
Yes.
did you play Aliens Colonial Marines when it came out?
No, and I did not want to because I heard it was very bad, very, very bad, and the story was supposedly very, very weird and also bad.
Oh, I didn't know the story was weird. I remember seeing the previews and being like, this is the game we should have always got.
Oh, no, I think the story was supposed to... I don't remember. I didn't play it. It had gotten pretty awful reviews, mostly based on the AI.
I did play this at E3 that year. It was developers, devs as Aliens versus Marines, and of course they waxed us easily. Didn't help that my mouse was inverted, and I fucking hate that.
Ooh.
Pulling back should look up, not down. Sorry.
So, oh yeah, that's right. No, I think the story was supposed to be fairly decent. Anyways, so the game was panned as it was notorious for having extraordinarily bad AI. There's GIFs floating around on the internet. One that was particularly popular.
You mean a GIF?
No, I mean a GIF.
It's a GIF.
Don't really get it. GIF is peanut butter.
Jiffy. That's how the creators want it to be. Anyway, Ian, go on with your GIF.
I just don't care. So
there is one where the alien walks
walks
past the guy.
Yeah, you're standing there and the alien just walks around and completely ignores you. So
awful AI. It got panned.
Without me trying to sound like I know anything about programming at all.
Well, that's good.
Because I only did it for a few years in the 2000s. It was an initialization file, I believe, that was calling on two things. One was something that had to do with tethers, basically how the artificial intelligence would work. Basically, the alien knowing where players were, et cetera, knowing, basically it would tell them to split off or go behind the character, kind of keep them in relation to the player character, so they would know when to flank or try to sneak around so they wouldn't all jumble in one space. Basically give them certain instructions.
Let's explain to our tech deficient people what an ini file is.
It doesn't really matter. It's an initialization file. It's something that's calling on these programs.
This is why it's important to know what it is. It's usually in a text format.
Yes.
That anyone can go in and edit.
Well, code is in a text format.
Jesus Christ, Ian.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying it is.
But it's a file that you can go in. Sometimes they even tell you can change the settings. And I'm going back to games in the 80s and 90s where it said if you want to change the setting in the game, you can access. It's a text pad file usually. You can go in, change settings in the game, and the game references that file directly for game options. So in this case, though, something got fucked.
Right. This wasn't one we could edit. This was just one that was in there for the Pecan engine.
Pecan.
And one instance of it was spelled tether, and one was spelled teether with an E-A-T-H-E-R. And long story short is it completely screwed it up. It ignored it as something that was not there, so it did not cause anything to crash, but it caused the AI to work miserably. Basically, it caused it to not work at all as it was supposed to. This was discovered in a big way because the game recently went on sale for $3, and I guess someone on Reset Era was convincing people to buy it and give it a whirl, because at that price, why not try it? And there was a patch that was released that kind of fixed a bunch of the graphical issues, so they were using that. And long story short, as they went over it, they noticed this, and when patched, the AI is notably better. There's an Ars Technica article that states that they actually tried to compare the first two levels unpatched and the first two levels after the patch, and there is a noticeable difference. They state that the game's still not amazing, but a lot of the issues that were brought up in reviews around the time that it was released are actually addressed by applying this patch.
So this user, moddb.com user James Dickinson 963 said that when spelled correctly, tether versus teether. When spelled correctly, it controls tactical position adjustment, patrolling, and target zoning. When a Xeno is spawned, it is attached to a zone tether. The zone tells the Xeno what area it is its fighting space, and where different exits are. In combat, a Xeno will be forced to switch to a new tether, such as one behind you, so as to flank or disperse so they aren't so grouped up, etc. Okay, so when fixed, it sounds like they're acting more independently and intelligently to know where the players might be going, where the players looking at, and where the current zone is of the current yeah, so not having that means they're just just fucking doing whatever.
Right.
They're just walking around like in that GIF. They're walking around. So it's good that this got corrected. 5 years later, this is great.
And it's a fan correction too. It states that Gearbox never updated that. The last time they touched it was July 2013, and the typo is still in there.
So first of all, how did this error get out to people and not corrected? I guess that's two different questions. How do you get past QA with people playing this and realizing that the aliens are acting like idiots, walking around and not attacking us when they should be, and they're not acting with any sort of intelligence? How does that even happen for a major release?
Well, I mean, there's two possibilities, and one that we had discussed last night. I mean, one is they just didn't give a shit. They had to get it out, and they couldn't figure out where the issue was happening. Because I believe that was supposed to be a holiday launch game, or no, I think that was spring. But either way, I believe it had been delayed already. Two, maybe the code that the QA was playing and what was
was correct,
pressed to gold was slightly different. Maybe that typo happened after.
But once it comes out and they realize that something's radically wrong, and that's the second question: why didn't they look into it to fix it?
Time is money, I guess. They just don't. I mean, it's not really that unreasonable to think, well, they just don't care.
They didn't care, and because of that, the game gets panned, and now you can get it for 9% off.
Yeah, but I mean that when a game gets this is not an excuse, but in this day and age, when a game gets panned like that, it's not going to sell, and they probably took a look at it and said, "Is it worth us trying to go and fix this? All of this damning, info is out there about it.
It's too late anyway. Why should we look into it, even though it's a 1-second fix to tell people go in your file and change?
Well, and at that point, they didn't know what the problem was. I mean, they didn't know it was a 1-second fix. They had no idea. So
they couldn't figure this out. Okay.
For whatever reason, they couldn't. And yeah, they probably just left it to die.
That's so bizarre that no programmer would have said, I know exactly what's happening. It's not calling on the initialization file for that. That's what it is. I'm surprised no one ever said that in 5 years.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Well, let's check that. That could be the simplest thing. They look in the code. The AI is working correctly in our code, but in the ini file, it's not calling on it. And that's it. So I've never heard of something that fucked up from a typo, like something like that. Like, that's insane. That totally ruins the game for some people. So. All right, I still have to play the game besides getting waxed by the developers. One who knew me, by the way, it was funny getting killed. But I was like, "Hey, Pat, play the game," and they fucking tail through my torso, alien tail through my torso. Anyway, anything else on this one?
No, just very strange.